back to Mondays with Mover. I am Mover, C.W. Lemoine, author of the Spectre series and the Alex Shepard series. Hope you're having a great week. Enjoyed the last Mover mailbag and the DCS Viper conclusion, flying the patterns and the ILS and all that stuff. Today's episode, as I mentioned in a previous episode, included with this car, I had a 2-day ZR1 owner's high performance driving school level 1 at the Ron Fellows driving school at Spring Mountain. So this past weekend I went out and did that, and the reason I picked, so when I called them as soon as I got my VIN and said, hey, what dates do you have, they had November 9th and 10th, and that kind of goes along with the theme of my dad. Because, we talked about with the museum delivery video how, it was a bucket list item he and I had always wanted to do. And November 9th was the 6-year anniversary of my dad's passing. So, I figured it was a good way to honor him and just get my mind off of it because, I just didn't want to have to think about it. And it was something that he would have wanted to do, he would have enjoyed, because when I was a kid, I was very fortunate. He gave me, for my birthday, he gave me a racing school, 2-day racing school at Speed Tech. So I went and did that. We had a lot of fun together, and I'm sure he would have wanted to do this driving school, and he would have wanted me to do this instead of moping around thinking about, being sad. So I chose November 9th. I flew out on Friday. It was a great start to a week. Even got a cute flight attendant's phone number, which made it a great start to an awesome weekend, although that's kind of fizzled out a week later. But I could probably do an entire video on movers, dating failures and dating and all that stuff, probably a book. But it was a good time, great trip getting out to Vegas, and the 2-day course, great group of instructors, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching. After registration and breakfast, we went to the classroom for our first set of academics and introductions. They showed us around the cars, gave us the features so we'd be comfortable, and then we selected our car, which I've got the white ZR1 with the silver wheels because that's what was left. After that, we had a little bit more academics, and then we went out to the cars to do the first exercise, which was the braking demo out on the track.
All right, gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the 2-day ZR1 owners program here. We're going to actually go out to the front stretch on the racetrack here, and we have some cones set up. We're going to do a simulated ABS / threshold braking drill here. So this is designed to get you really comfortable with utilizing 100% of the car's braking capability should you need to, whether it's a situation on the racetrack or perhaps an emergency situation on the street. Go ahead and start the run. Just remember with my manual transmission cars too, we'll want to push the clutch in and we'll bring it to a stop. Yeah, that was pretty good there. Good initial bite on the brake, got the clutch in right away, so it's a good way to start things off. That was also, I'd say, about 170.
My first runs were pretty good. Got a good feel of the brake pedal pressure. We did multiple runs back and forth. I was having a little trouble with spinning and didn't really grasp until much later in the run that you didn't necessarily need full throttle to get to 80 miles an hour for the exercise.
You can start. transmissions, if you catch second gear really hard, sometimes the back of the car has a surprise for you. So let's just try to smooth that out so we avoid spinning a car on the braking exercise. But otherwise, in terms of the brake technique, that looked pretty good.
After we finished that, back to the classroom for more academics, and then on to the shifting braking exercise. And the goal of this was to get up to 80 miles an hour and then start braking with a firm pressure, easing off the brake pressure and downshifting from fourth to third to second, just as kind of practice for that. Although he did say 25 miles an hour was about where you wanted to be, anywhere from 15 to 25 would be fine. So we did a few runs of that, and then the instructor jumped in. And yes, my harness was flipped around.
I think so.
Just something that happened, I guess, taking it on and off between sessions.
Notice with the braking, you kind of add as you come in. You never want to do that because you're doing this with the car.
Okay.
Right? You're putting all the weight on the nose, and then when you want to turn the wheel, your car's unsettled and you got all the weight on the nose of the car and your rear end's light. Does that make sense? So get the braking process done a little sooner, a little firmer, and then bleed off it one motion. Try not to add as you come in. You never add brake coming in, you always bleed as you come in. Firm. Start to bleed. Don't add it. There you go. See how the car settles back out?
Yeah.
And then you can kind of
just
ease the car
ease off
the
pedal. Okay.
You never add brake coming in,
okay,
because you're putting the weight on the nose. You want the weight on the nose when you want it to turn, right?
Yeah.
But you don't want a lot because your rear end's light, right? So if you add it, you have a lot. Does that make sense? So you get the braking process done soon, so you can bleed the car off as you're turning the wheel, right? Then 4 tires work better than 2, right?
Right.
So that's kind of the idea with that. Nice job.
So the instructors were really good. It was really good explanation. And then we came back to the classroom and they explained to us the next exercise after lunch. So we went to lunch and then came back, and then after lunch we did the oval, which is basically go fast, turn left, so they could explain how proper apex and turn in and all the basics that we'd need for going to the track.
The brakes, transition period, unwind, and accelerate.
Essentially, we're going to pretend we're NASCAR drivers for a few minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to go through this pretty quickly, and we're only going to do it 2 cars at a time.
Good. We're first.
All right, which way?
We're going to be right here. Go straight ahead. Turn in cone, apex cone. So a couple things. Try to maintain 9-3. Bring your hands down a little bit, and then push into the wheel instead of shuffling the wheel. So keep your hands at that 9-3 position. We'll start with that.
Okay. And this was basically go fast, turn left, go fast, turn left, and after a while it kind of got sick of it.
Brakes in for balance. Into the apex.
But the instruction was very good, and the inputs for how to threshold brake and how to brake turning in were really good. And also my habit from shuffle steering from doing the police driving course. And after a while I was just curious if I should be going faster, because I figured it would end. Should I be going faster? Or?
No, I don't think that would make any difference. I think you're doing everything right, basically. We've got a few minutes here. Normally I have to spend more time just getting them to figure out where the line is, and, you know. You're doing a great job, so let's just kind of keep going around here. Great job.
After that, they set us up in subgroups and took us out for our first track session. So we're going to go learn the track. We've done all the exercises for today. We're going to do some slow laps and then speed it up as we go, but we won't be going super fast until we learn the track. And then tomorrow, we're going to push it up. So should be fun, though. Looking forward to it. I've had a good time so far. Learned a lot. This car is amazing. I'm glad I got a 3ZR. This is a 1ZR, so the base model ZTK, and it's missing a lot of the accoutrements of the ZR1.
All right, boys. Well, we've all been waiting for, right? We're going to go out and drive the racetrack here.
Hell yeah.
With this entry session here, we call it the discovery session, so we're going to go slow for the first 3 laps if you guys are good with the line. So try to stay off each other's bumper, try to just lay back for these first couple laps.
so we can learn the line, practice our visual scanning as well, see where the racetrack, look at the attitude of the road, stuff like that, folks. So take a deep breath in, deep breath out, get nice and relax the vehicle before we get going here, before we enter the racetrack here, folks. We never want to be tight and tense in that car.
Wiggle your fingers and toes, just like flying fingertip. God, it's a beautiful day.
Go ahead and follow me, folks.
Here we go. We went out on the track in a lead trail, which was pretty interesting to me because the instructor's out there driving the track, talking on the radio, and it's like a CB hand mic, and he's got another little side radio as well while he's driving pretty fast. There were a couple times where he's in a Z06 and he's just walking away because his technique is so much better.
As we're going through that, okay? Now the line through turn 1 is right in the middle. Now if you use your eyes to look right, you can nose the car down to the apex cone, which is the orange code for green collar. Make a nice straight line. A little bit of breakdown towards this.
The instruction was excellent and showing the line was really good.
Now looking left, you can already see that apex cone come up.
We practiced passing just because we would shuffle who was following directly behind every lap.
Dave, we're going to practice a rotation here. So pull to the right for me, bud. Come up behind me here. Dave, hop in behind the group. Now down the straightaway, the manuals go to 4th. The autos go up to 5th.
And it really wasn't much for shifting, just the 2 shifts, one up, one down. I think for the fastest lap when they showed us, there was like one more shift that they used, but you really didn't need it. This car's just got so much torque.
Right about here when you touch the brake, you're going back down to 3rd. Dave, you're going down to 3rd as well. And literally for the manuals, that's your only shift point. It's literally 3rd gear the whole track, 4th gear down the straightaway, 3rd gear into turn 8.
After we all went through a rotation, we went back in to stop, get our bearings, and then the next one we were going to start pushing it up.
But for one thing, folks, with picking up the speed, if you guys are off your marks and missing cones and missing things out there, stuff like that, I'm going to try and slow you down so we can get it done right. Just because I don't want you to get into your deductible here today, right? So we're going to go out there, have some fun with it. If we're doing things right and we're doing everything absolutely perfect, then you guys go as fast as you want. You know, it really doesn't matter to me. If you're going, there's no speed limit for us, as long as you're doing it right. If you're doing it wrong...
And the high deductible was hanging over our heads, and then after a couple laps of going faster, the car in front of me basically overcooked it into the turn and ditched out on the straightaway, which is exactly what he should have done. It was just kind of a scary moment for both of us because we're going pretty fast and he just couldn't make the corner, but he did well. He was a good driver. Even the speed that we were going, we still had to come to almost a stop because we were running down other groups, so we had to give ourselves some spacing before we could start again.
Just kind of keep working with it, you know. It's auto.
Behind the instructor that day, the fastest lap, this is the end of the fastest lap we did. We really weren't even going that fast. It was a 2:03 lap time. To me, I thought we were moving. We were going way faster than I expected. I thought it was going to be, let's push it up. But that's how the instructors are. They base it on your skill level and kind of how you're keeping up. And this was our best lap of the day. You can see at the right corner, 2:04 flat, which not great, but we were doing well. And then we did a cool down. We exited the track and called it a day. So a good productive first day. Well, that concludes day 1. Tomorrow they're putting Cup 2s on and we're gonna go faster. But wow, that felt fast as it was, so we'll see what happens when it's even faster.
To expect today. I did remember I said we're going to be on the Cup 2s. Okay, so it's a little chilly. They're going to go out and warm the cars up and tires.
Day 2, Autocross first. So day 2, my group started out with the Autocross. The other group went out and did their own track session first, and this was just to get warmed up and get the tires warm. Sliding around a little bit, but actually not as bad as I could have been because I did not have the right tires on the car. They had forgotten to put the Cup 2 tires on. So you'll see here in a minute that after I get in, they realize, oh wow, he actually doesn't. So you can also see that I've pretty much given up 9 and 3 hand position from yesterday and still shuffle steering, going back to the police driving stuff that I've been given. But it was very slick out there. The other part, I kept slipping my foot off the clutch on the emergency stop for whatever reason, and then that morning, my seating position, I kept slipping.
All right, Dave, just hold tight. If we're going to switch this car out with you, okay? Because obviously they forgot to change your tires, so this car we're bringing up will have the Cup 2s on them.
Oh, jeez. But the car they gave me was yellow, and I thought it looked a lot better than the white car. Yellow's also faster. Science. So we swapped cars, and I was off for the second one. These tires were not heated up, so they had actually warmed everybody's tires up. These were just perfectly cold Cup 2 tires, and I was slip sliding every which way as I tried to harness the 755 horsepower. No matter what I did, I just could not get grip on these tires.
Nicely done there. That's how you warm them up. Nice job. 45-2.
It was very slick. And then again, I did it a couple more runs and slip sliding around, and this time I even came in Dukes of Hazzard style, which I thought for sure I'd have knocked a cone down, but luckily I stayed within the lines.
You'll get some heat in those tires eventually.
But my foot slipped off the clutch. And then on to the last run, still sliding, doing a little bit better. I think this was my best run overall, but sliding.
All right, very good. That was your best lap so far as well.
Then we went back for a short break and then came right back out to do day 2, session 1, our first push-it-up session on the track.
Little cooler to start. And that's why we just make sure we go out here for this first session. We do a nice, easy warm-up lap to get things started. Good that you guys already had a little bit of an icebreaker with that autocross this morning. Love the ZR1 school, like you guys being aggressive. Just want you to be smooth this morning, especially in session number 1.
So as we pushed it up, times got a little bit better. You can see a 2:03 there, and then gradually started to increase the speed behind the leader there. I think this will be our best lap of the morning.
Back to the left. Notice I'm accelerating more into turn 2, though. That's where I'm beating you. Middle of the track.
The tires warmed up, and the Cup 2s just hook. They are very grippy tires.
Light brake, like don't over slow it. Just let it roll through this corner a little faster to the back of the curve. Nice. Out to the white line on the left, that's wide. And then right. So Dave, that's literally nothing like what I told you to do back there in turn 3. I told you to start breaking that neon cone. You broke way later than that. You're not going to make up speed on the entry by breaking later. You're going to make it up by getting a better run coming out of the corners. Over to the right side here. Doing good right here. A little bit of light balance through the center. Over to the right. Accelerate out to the left now. Good job. Sweet and third. Coming out the left. It's wide open. Take a light brake. Bring it to the left. Orange cone. Short turn. Some balance.
was our first really good lap of the day. We got stuck in traffic a bunch of times and called it good. And then we did ride-alongs with the instructors so they could show us the line, and got to see kind of from their perspective. They were running 146, 147s for their laps for that, just to show us, not blazing speed. The fastest ever was a 139, but for the demonstration purposes, they were running about 147. And this is a YouTube celebrity, D's Rides. If you're not subscribed to him, he's got a ceramic matrix gray ZR1. Real cool channel, another YouTuber.
Man. That was awesome.
So after that, more academics, and then back out for track session 2 right before lunch.
Second time out this morning.
So you can start recording on the PDR if you already haven't started.
And for this one, 147.6 was a good lap. And this is actually going to be my fastest lap time of the day. So we had shuffled around. I skipped a whole bunch of laps because I know you guys don't want to see the whole thing. But this is, I always ran my best laps when it was just me right behind the instructor. We were down to groups of 2. It was just me and another guy, Mike, who did really well in autocross. And this will be the fastest lap of the day for me.
Bouncing in there, slowly bleeding off the brakes, use that curb.
It's also the squirreliest because right here, as we go through the S's, he'll get into the rocks and I'll get into his rocks and pretty much almost lose it right here because the tires get some stuff on them. And these tires are not very good when they've got any kind of debris or rocks or tire or fod or anything on them. But keep it together and put together one of the best, well actually the best lap of the day. Much more consistent in the last session, but in session 2 here I was the fastest, and we were just gradually building up the speed to get to this point.
Right brake, look at the left, all the way over the left, you're doing 6.
The fastest top end on this straightaway, 134.
Another tracker over the right. Use that curve. A little bit of brake over to the left side.
And you can see it's just a learning curve, slowly getting better. So we crossed the start finish line right at 146, 146.9 by the time it clicks over. Very good lap, and then right after that we run a 147, so still pretty consistent, and then we cool down and come back in lunchtime. Feeling pretty good about the car, feeling good about the course. We go get our lunch at the club, which was awesome, and then they come back and they look at our PDR recordings to try to show us the analytics compared to the fastest lap they had run and kind of where the line is. A lot of good information on the Cosworth toolbox that we got to learn and explore there. It was pretty cool. And then out for session 3, which actually wasn't a very fast session. It wasn't because of me or the instructor or anything. We just kept running up on traffic every time we'd start going or switching leads, and it just never could get into a rhythm to get something any kind of fast or anything like that.
Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, get nice and relaxed in the vehicle before we get going here.
But it was a good example of just being consistent and going out there and doing well. And my camera fell, which was a distraction all of itself, which I should have just left, but every time I had a spare brain bite, I was sitting there trying to mess with it, trying to fix it, doing 100 miles an hour. So bad on me for that. Probably shouldn't have been messing with it at all, because I could have been doing much faster and shifting and focus on the line, but whatever, it kept flipping back over and kept having issues, so didn't really have the best time with that. It was a new mount and was having issues, but we were running 150s very consistently, so not quite what the first session was, but still doing a good job of staying in the line, and eventually I will get it fixed, but it was a distraction that I shouldn't have messed. Eventually when we change leads here, as Mike in the white car goes by, I'll get to do a little bit better, but it still was a pain. And so the best lap of there, 149.8, so sub 150s, but not where we were previously. And then we cool down and call it a day for session 2. A lot of learning points there. After that, we get together for a tech talk while the last group goes out, and they showed us a ZR1, learned some stuff about what oil to use, just kind of some basic stuff for taking to the track. And once we're finished, last session of the day.
Last run of the day. You're not trying to set any speed records or anything. We've done fairly well. Stay on the track, learn some things, get comfortable with the car. hopefully take mine to Nolan Motorsports Park spring. So it's been a good course, it's been a lot of fun. Hopefully the camera.
And that was the biggest thing. I just wanted to learn. I mean, lap times really weren't all that important other than showing progress, but I didn't want to be the fastest. I just wanted to learn so that when I go out to Nolan Motorsports, I'll be safe and learn to control the car.
And, you know, as I mentioned, this is called a cool down session, but it really doesn't mean cool down in terms of speed. It just means that this is where we want to see the best consistency from you. So, you know, some of you guys heard me talk about that a little bit this morning, but, you know, the more consistent we can be with the proper technique, then really the higher speeds just become a byproduct of that. So even though we're probably feeling pretty comfortable with the car and the track, you know, let's just keep trying to do what we have been doing all day. And, you know, focus on the little things, gain a little bit of speed throughout the course.
And that's essentially what we did. We were consistent and safe. We, you know, the 150 on the first one, and then about a 152 on the second one. And as we got more comfortable with me behind the instructor, this will be my best lap, probably my smoothest lap of the day, even though it's not quite the fastest.
Good, let it settle. Get a little throttle. Just remember that throttle steer here. Let the car turn back to that apex. Nice firm initial brakes here. Start lightening up onto the brake as we're turning in. Squeezing back into the throttle here. Turn the wheel a little bit more at the very start of that corner, very initially into it. There you go, nice job, it's 7 right there. Maybe ease off that brake a little bit slower, so look at the throttle coming down here a little bit. Came off the brake a little too quickly there in 7, but otherwise your turning point was really good. Nice, good job through 9 right there.
This was a 147 flat, and I honestly thought the next one was going to be the fastest because it just seemed like everything had started to click. However, this was a lap where we had to swap leads and we slowed down, so I guess I'll never know what the flat fastest would have been, but again, it doesn't matter. It was all about learning and car control and feeling comfortable in the car, which I think I got a lot of out of this course, which I was very, very happy about. But this lap right here, it just felt like it was going so much faster than the other ones, and it just felt so much more comfortable.
Let's try to avoid letting the front of the car wash away. Let's keep that grip on the front tires. Get it pointed, and then we can start rolling back to the gas. That was good right there.
Yeah, it just felt good. It felt like it was going to be a good lap.
A little bit more here early on. Get it to that first apex. There you go. Now use a little throttle. Push it out here. Light brake. Help it turn back in. Nice. Good speed.
And we were consistent 150s after that, and then another 147. So I was pretty happy with the performance, at least when I was up front, doing fairly well of keeping it safe.
A cool down lap. Now fourth gear here, get some air through everything.
And that was it.
All right, that was fun.
Good session there, guys. Way to end things, but hey, you guys did a good job right there, finishing off the day. Good speed, pretty good consistency for the most part. You know, the cool thing too is you really get comfortable with track driving techniques like this. So it just makes you a much better, much more prepared, and much more defensive driver. everyday street purposes as well. So, it's kind of a double benefit to this stuff.
Awesome. That was fun. It was a good course. I'm happy to have been able to do it. And I saved my deductible. I don't want to speak too soon, but I don't have to pay 15 grand yet. That's good. Awesome. Good time. Laps look good. This car is amazing. It's a fucking race car. There's no other way to put it. It's a race car.
Then after we came back in, we regrouped in the classroom for some last minute words and a graduation session where they gave us our certificates.
ZR1 school, and it is suitable for framing there. They got these carbon fiber look-alike frames over at the Welcome Center.
And all the stuff that we got to take home for completing the 2-day level 1 ZR1 driver school. So really awesome time, really awesome to be able to do that. Very fortunate that I was given this opportunity. And that was it. Went home, caught my flight back to New Orleans. So it was a great time, great group of instructors. Really fortunate to be able to do that. I'm glad I got out there and met some really awesome people, really good drivers on the ZR1 side. So hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey, sweetie, I missed you. It's good to be home. No, I wasn't with another ZR1 this weekend. What do you mean you can smell her exhaust on me? Excuse me. Oh, no. Oh! Spent a lot of that. Perfectly fine with the doors off. All pots too. Don't be a douche. That's rule number 1. Make them tell you no.